2 years ago, the Arizona Cardinals were the worst team in the NFL. Fast forward to today, and they're the best team in football. But it wasn't the flip of a switch overnight. At 6-0 this season, head coach Cliff Kingsbury has already won more games than he did in his first year in Arizona. The Cardinals did what a lot of teams are afraid to do and blew it up. They wanted a fresh start. Arizona was terrible in 2018, and despite selecting Josh Rosen 10th at the draft and hiring Steve Wilks to be the head coach, the Cardinals fired Wilks and traded Rosen. They hired Kingsbury and used the #1 overall pick in 2019 on Kyler Murray, who has been their bona fide leader. But he's been surrounded by elite talent all over the field. The Cardinals went out and traded for DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best wide receivers in the league, recently traded for Zach Ertz, one of the best tight ends just a few seasons ago, and signed AJ Green and former Defensive Player of the Year JJ Watt, who gets to play alongside Chandler Jones. On paper, the Cardinals have a lot of star power, but their rise to becoming a Super Bowl contender is quite literally the biggest Hail Mary of all time. Breaking down every step of the Cardinals rebuild, it's incredible that they stand where they're at today. Who fires their first-year head coach and trades away their first-round rookie quarterback to hire a guy that had a losing record coaching in college and draft a quarterback who is now the shortest in the league?
Come on, bro. You know we're not tall enough for this. You got to bring the camera way down.
Fast forward one season, and Arizona decided to release Larry Fitzgerald, the greatest player in the franchise's history, and sign two aging veterans who haven't been able to stay healthy for years. Every move the Cardinals have made in the past 2 years has been extremely risky, but it's worked. And now, they're the last remaining undefeated team in the league. But if you want more content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Arizona fans still have nightmares of Santonio Holmes' toe tap in the end zone and wonder what if. But at the end of the day, he caught it. As Cardinals fans cry in front of their Kurt Warner shrine, they think about what it would be like to have a Super Bowl victory. But this could be their season. They fell apart in 2020 after a 6-3 start, but this team just feels different. On the offensive side of the ball, it's no longer a DeAndre Hopkins or bust situation. They have weapons all over the field, coupled with a much improved offensive line thanks to the acquisition of Rodney Hudson. The defense as an entire unit has improved. Byron Murphy has improved in coverage, and Isaiah Simmons appears to be finally coming along after a weak rookie year. The Cardinals have finally become the team that we were told they were last season but didn't live up to. But first, we have to rewind.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
Bruce Arians led the Cardinals to a winning record in 3 of his 4 seasons before he decided to retire, leaving Arizona in a new era searching for answers of how to rebuild. General manager Steve Keim was on vacation when a man walked up to him and introduced himself. That man was
John Cena! How'd that get in there?
That man was Steve Wilks, who Keim decided to hire as the team's new head coach after a single year as the defensive coordinator for the Panthers. Wilks tried to land a franchise quarterback in the draft, taking a shot on Josh Rosen at number 10. Yeah, it's safe to say that didn't really work. There were a ton of worries with Rosen heading into the draft, mainly his lack of maturity and leadership, but it was definitely his play on the field that put the nail in his career. Sam Bradford was the Cardinals starter, but after Arizona quickly started 0-3, Rosen got pushed into the starting role for an absolutely terrible team. I mean, the Cardinals were painfully bad. They will legit go down as one of the worst teams statistically in league history, and Rosen just got hung out to dry. The Cardinals went through multiple offensive coordinators, an offensive line that mirrored the blocking ability of traffic cones, and had a wide receiver core that just sucked. He went 2-11 starting, and honestly, it feels as though he was put in the worst situation for a rookie quarterback in recent memory. With Cliff Kingsbury coming in, it made sense to move on from Rosen. Kingsbury was bringing his air raid offense to the pros, and Kyler Murray fit that mold perfectly for it. Of course, let's not forget that Arizona said Rosen was their guy, but everyone knew that was likely just a ton of crap. It was the right move looking back, but their success just didn't happen overnight. The The Cardinals were still really bad in 2019. Murray was trying to find his footing in the pros, but it was rather hard to do when he had to run for his life on literally every single play. The offensive line gave up 50 sacks as the line shuffled around with starters landing on injured reserve. The defense was awful and couldn't stop anyone, giving up the most points per game in the league, playing a major role in their awful 3-7-1 start before finishing 5-10-1. There were still plenty of positives that came out of that season, however, and after Murray and Kingsbury had a full offseason and acquired DeAndre Hopkins, many thought it was time for the Cardinals to dominate, and they were considered a dark horse to truly compete for a Super Bowl, and they started off pretty well. Arizona started 6-3, with the shocking Hail Murray to defeat the Buffalo Bills in the mix. The Cardinals were atop of the NFC West and had the best offense in the NFL. People were starting to talk about a potential Super Bowl run, but they didn't even make the playoffs. They went 2-5 to close out the season and lost every divisional game. At the end of the year, all they needed to do was win one of 2 games. Both were against backup quarterbacks. The Cardinals lost both to finish 8-8 and miss the playoffs. There is the worry that Arizona could end up with another 2020 level collapse this season, and while I personally doubt it, the criticism is fair. At 6-0, only one opponent actually has a winning record, the Rams. But it's not like that was a close game. The Cardinals thoroughly outplayed Los Angeles to earn the victory, but they're also only one Vikings field goal away from starting 1-1. Luckily, Minnesota can't hit field goals, even if it is from 27 yards out in the wild card.
That one stung, Lois. Oh, that one stung.
The Cardinals' win against the Browns is probably their biggest win of the season. The Rams' victory was big, but the Cardinals proved that they can fight through adversity. Kingsbury ended up testing positive for COVID-19 last week and couldn't attend the game, having to stay about 2,000 miles away from his team, alongside their quarterback's coach and a defensive lineman. Luckily, Vance Joseph has his own experience being a head coach during a short stint with the Denver Broncos. Alongside Kingsbury, Chandler Jones also tested positive, all in the same week that Rodney Hudson landed on injured reserve. Despite all of that, Arizona went out and beat a depleted Browns team on the road. Next week shouldn't present many challenges against a bad Texans team. But the true test of how good the Cardinals are may come the following Thursday against the Packers. After losing to the Saints in Week 1, the Packers have been one of the best teams in football and will present a tough challenge for the Cardinals. Regardless, Arizona has finally proven that they're one of those true Super Bowl contenders. Okay, let's be honest here. The hype coming into last season was unwarranted. It was a COVID-19 offseason and only the second year in the NFL for Kingsbury and Murray. They hadn't proved anything before and didn't prove much during the season. But finally, the Cardinals appear to be the team many thought they could become. I think it's safe to say they're one of the best teams in the NFC, if not the best. But it's hard to see where they fit into the AFC. The AFC has so much more talented and truly dominant quarterbacks, and it's going to be a bloodbath going deep into the season and the playoffs. But the Cardinals should have the benefit of a somewhat easier path, with the Buccaneers, Packers, and Cowboys being the main teams that stick out in their division. Arizona is surely good enough to compete for a Super Bowl this season, but do you think the Cardinals have what it takes to take home the Lombardi Trophy? Hey, thanks for sticking to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss one of our daily uploads. Go ahead and follow us on TikTok, where we're going to be posting all season long, and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, where we're going to be continuing the conversation over on there. Again, thank you guys for sticking to the end of the video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.